Hello YouTube, it's Alejandro, and I promised a while back, about almost a week ago, that after I did my opening for the Colossal Dragons of the Colossal Ocean of the... whatever, it's a mouthful, trial deck opening, that I would do a deck profile. And so here it is. So yeah, the deck is over Ancient World. Over the Dragon Chief Emperor attribute cards. There's a life counter. And so yeah, here's the flag for Ancient World, and the main buddy that I chose instead of Dual Jaeger, turns out it's pronounced Jaeger, not Jaeger, thanks to a commenter on my previous video, so thanks for that tip. So yeah, the buddy of the deck is Iron Fist Chief Strongo, and of course I'm using the full-on art, nice shiny holographic one. He's a size 3 monster with 7/3/5 stats, and his call cost is pay a gauge, and put the top card of your deck into his soul, and he has Soul Guard, Dragon Chief Emperor attributes. So yeah, he has Soul Guard, and he only costs a gauge. I really like this guy. I might be a little biased because the moment I first saw him, I just really liked his design. I like him better than Dual Jaeger, personally. Plus, he's cheaper. He's one less gauge to pay. Plus, his design is just so awesome, like the bandages and flaming. Anyway, off topic. Now onto the deck itself. I run 4 copies of the Great Ocean Deity Dual Jaeger Caesarion. It's a size 3 monster with 10,000 power, 6,000 defense, 2 critical, and its call cost is pay 2 gauge and put on top of a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor monster without cards in its soul, and put the top card of your deck into this card's soul. So basically, Soul Guard of 2. When this card enters the field, destroy a monster in your opponent's field. So bonus ability: double attack, Soul Guard, and lifelink 2. Running it at 4. And as it said, on top of a size 3 Dragon Emperor, and the buddy happens to count as a size 3 Dragon Emperor, so it doesn't have to evolve on top of Dual Jaeger specifically, even though it's a Dual Jaeger evolution. So you can evolve this on top of the buddy of the deck. Next, speaking of Dual Jaeger, we also run 4 copies of Colossal Ocean Chief Dual Jaeger in the deck, because size 3, 8,000 power, 3 critical, 6,000 defense. Call cost, pay 2 gauge, and put up to 1 Dragon Chief Emperor from your drop zone to this card's soul, and has penetrate. Yeah, I prefer Iron Fist Chief over Dual Jaeger because, well, I like his design better. Plus, he has one less gauge to pay too. So yeah, I mean, you could go either way. Essentially, how the deck runs is you try to get either Dual Jaeger or Strong Go out, and then evolve them into this guy, and all the other cards in the deck are basically built around to support them. You can evolve off either, it doesn't really matter. Then, 4 of the buddy. Already went over him. Iron Fist Chief Strong Go. Now for every other card that basically supports them. Now, for these next 2 cards, I kind of had a bit of a tough choice because of space reasons. Instead of choosing 4 of one of them, for one of them, I just went half and half and used 3 copies. Next, we have Chief of Armors Under the Ken. It's a size 2, 6,000 power, 2 critical, 4,000 defense, Dragon Chief Emperor attribute. Counter, put this card from your hand into the soul of a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor monster on your field. Lifelink 1. So yeah, I would want to run this guy at 4, for the extra Soul Guard, which is a nice ability, very useful, but I kind of had to leave the 4th spot open so I can add a 3rd copy of this next guy, which is really important in my opinion in the deck. Haven't really tested the deck out yet, so I don't know just how useful this guy is, but I feel like he's important. The next card is Chief of Wind Messenger Jin. So yeah, run this guy also at 3 copies. I didn't want to run him at 2 because I felt like 3 was a better number, but yeah, this is just what I went with it. Size 2, 3, 3, 3. When this card enters your field, put up to 1 size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor from your drop zone to your hand. He's kind of weak, has a good critical though, but I feel like his ability to recycle a Dragon Chief Emperor is really important. I mean, if you happen to have one in your drop zone, and you just can't draw into another one, just use this guy and recycle it. Plus, I can feel a good first turn combo off that dude also. Next, the size 1. I maxed out the 3 copies in the trial deck to the 4 copies of Underling Knuckler Dan. 4 copies, size 1, 4,000 power, 2,000 defense, critical of 2. If you have an originally size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor on your field, reduce the size of this card by 1, so potentially size 0, and lifelink 1. Good stats. Then, to amp him up, I had to amp this guy down. Apprentice Underling Rookie Ichi. Size 0, 4, 1, 1. I only played 2 copies of him. I had to run this guy down so I can amp this guy up because he has the better stats. This guy's a decent size 0 to go with the deck, though, too. Now for the spells, and balancing the number ratios on these were a little trickier. First up, we have Dragon Within the Ocean. Pay a gauge and pay a life. Search your deck for up to one size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. You may only cast Dragon Within the Ocean once per turn. I maxed this card out at 4, so I can easily draw into either Strong Go, Jaeger, or the Evolution. Basically what you would do with this card is if you have either your size 3s already, use this card and get the evolved form, or if you have the evolved form, you would either search for whichever one's your buddy, probably, so you can get the buddy gift off of it. So yeah, I highly recommend running this card at 4, just so you can get your combo cards early on. Next, max copy, must-have, of Dragon Emperor Legend. Get a gauge, gain a life, draw a card. Simple. Good card, though. Next card, I run it only at 2, not changing the number on it. Dragon Dreams. I would have liked to change the number, like either add more or reduce, but I feel like 2 is a good number, minimum. Basically, you gain 3 life. And with the life links and the cost of some of the spells and stuff, you kind of need that extra life. Speaking of which, next spell, Rise and Fall of Dragons. Pay 2 life, put the top 4 cards of your deck into your gauge. Only cast once per turn. Yeah, I wanted to run this card more than 4, but space was a little tight, and in hindsight, do you really need more than this much? Plus, if I start gauging too much, it could end up being a problem for the deck running into the right combo cards. Then, we have 3 copies of Strength of 1,000 Dragon. Choose a Dragon Chief Emperor monster in battle, and for that battle, give it plus 3,000 power, plus 3,000 defense, and counterattack. I want to run this card at 4, but there's no space, and 3 is a good enough number already anyway. Then, the Shield card. Trying a Dragon's Best. You may only cast this during an attack on your opponent's turn if you have 5 life or more. So basically, early on Shield, not late game really. Cast cost, pay a life, but nullify the attack and put the top card of your deck into your gauge. So it's like a blue Dragon Shield. A little more specific in the requirements, but it's like a blue Dragon Shield. Then for the item, for Ocean Boy's Anchor Ripple, pay a gauge and pay a life. This card can attack even if there's a monster on your center. 3,000 power, 2 critical. Good ability, especially when setting up your formation with the size 3. And last but not least, I only play... So like I was saying, for the last card, the Impact, I only play 3 copies of Big Catch, Keegan, Ocean Cleaving, Twin Dragon Wave. I would like to amp this up to 4, but up to 3 is a good enough number already as it is. 4 would just be overkill, not to mention it's a little tight fighting space. I mean, you could run the deck without the Impact, but I feel like it adds an extra punch to it. So basically, all you have to do is cast this during your opponent's... If your opponent has 3 life or less, and you have a size 3 monster on your center, which is basically what you're trying to set up with this deck, pay 2 gauge and deal 3 damage. Simple cost, good damage. So basically what you want to do with the deck is search out for your size 3, evolve it into this guy, then get out your size 0s, equip your weapon, get 4 attacks off, not to mention your double attack. Then after you get enough gauge, you finish them off with your Impact, full on formation. The main deck revolves all about either Dual Jaeger or Strong Go. You have to get either one of them so you can evolve them into the next stage. The deck revolves all around them. Now, just really remember a few quick notes that this is my build of the deck using 2 copies of the Colossal Dragon Emperor of the Ocean trial deck. So yeah, this does not include any cards from the new set that came out recently, unfortunately. Although when I do get a box or 2 for that set, I will do an update eventually of this deck. But yeah, this is a fairly competitive, cheap budget build for players who can't really afford to spend hundreds of dollars on booster boxes to build a really fancy competitive deck. This is my build using only just 2 of the trial decks, and it's fairly competitive with only a few minor adjustments here and there. So yeah, this is a really cool deck. It's fairly competitive. You can try building it yourself if you want. Remember, all you need is just 2 trial decks. There will be a link down in the description below to the trial deck if you want to buy one off Amazon for about $20. And remember, the buddy can either be Strongo or Dual Jaeger. It's your choice. You can pick any monster really to be to the buddy of the deck. And yeah, check out my opening for the trial deck if you haven't already, and all my other Buddyfight stuff if you're interested in that. Check out my other videos on my channel too if you're interested in any of my other content. Keep the channel growing, subscribe, thumbs up, and thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.